review of one of my favorite board games. I don't know if I've ever shared, but my wife and I are huge board game people, and we have a ton of games. That would be kind of fun for a series, I guess, to go over. But this one is by far probably my favorite one. It's fun because, at least for me, I know I'm not gonna win. My wife's way too good at this, and so I just go into like having fun and trying to accomplish what I can. I'm not competitive at all, so a lot of these games are just super fun for me, because I go in not expecting to win, and then if I do, it's awesome. Nice little surprise. But all that to say, I think it'd be fun to do a little overview of one of my favorite games called Ticket to Ride, and this is the Europe edition. I'm pretty sure you can get a bunch of different editions, like a United States one. Not gonna list off any others because I'm not sure, but we have the Europe edition, which is kind of fun because being from the United States, this kind of teaches me a little bit about Europe and the geography of it, or I guess the map, because I've only ever been to Spain, where we did a Madrid to Malaga trip back and forth. But I'm hoping to make my way out to Europe sometime soon. Thinking about doing Italy next year. All that to say, I want to shout out Aussie ASMR Man because his content is kind of like this, very just like calm, slow, and just kind of reads packets and I guess reviews things, does overviews of things, and I just find it so relaxing. So I thought we could do it ourselves. So shout out to him, go check him out. So, Ticket to Ride. This is all impromptu, I have nothing prepared, so we're gonna just open this up, read about it, and I'll kind of tell you my thoughts and strategies and what I love about it. So, let's get into this game. So first down here is the board itself. I hate that I can't get all of it in the frame, but this is the board we're working with. But let's go ahead and get into the box first. Alright. So, Ticket to Ride Europe. From the craggy hillsides of Edinburgh to the sunlit docks of Constantinople, from the dusty alleys of Pamplona, I'm sorry, I have like a 4th grade reading level, to a windswept station in Berlin, Ticket to Ride Europe takes you on a new train adventure through the great cities of turn-of-the-century Europe. So old-timey Europe. Will you risk a trip through the dark tunnels of Switzerland? Venture aboard a ferry on the Black Sea, or erect lavish train stations in the great capitals of the old empires? Your next move might just make you enemy's greatest train magnet. Pack your luggage, hail the border, and climb aboard. Alright, so this game is 2 to 5 people, 8 plus, and takes about 30 to 60 minutes, it says, to play. That sounds about right. I think our games usually last about that long, give or take. Alright, let's see. So, let's see what we got going on in the instructions. So, I might honestly learn some new things. I'm going to go ahead and take this box off. We'll bring it back up in a second. Alright, so the components of the game, I'll get up to these when we pull the box back out. So let's jump over to the objective of the game. So the objective of the game is to score the highest number of total points. Points can be scored by claiming a route between 2 adjacent cities on the map, successfully completing a continuous path of routes between two cities listed on your destination tickets, completing the longest continuous path of routes to win the European Express bonus card. And for each train station kept in reserve at the end of the game. See, that's something I didn't know, is you get points for each train station you don't use, which we'll learn about train stations. Points are deducted from the player's total score for each of their destination tickets that are not successfully completed by the end of the game. That is what can get you. So, let's see, I think I'm going to need the, obviously, the components of the game to explain it. So, let's bring those back out. So, I know everybody who plays board games, they have their color. And depending on what people we have, what friends we have over playing, I usually try to give them the first choice, but I'm always hoping I end up with blue. So blue is my color. That's the one I always play with. Let me know what color you always choose with board games. Alright, so we've got our trains, we've got our scorecard, our scorekeeper. There's probably a different name for it. And then these are just extra trains. And let's get all these cards out. Oh, this is so fun. I just want to play this game right now, but obviously it's just me. I wonder if anybody, I'm sure it's happened, somebody's done a YouTube live or Instagram live or something, and played a board game with, I don't know, someone they're doing the live with. I don't know. I'm not really someone who watches lives, but thought I'd bring that up. Funny thought. Alright, so here are our components of the game. So we will pull them out when we review them. Alright. So, we have one map of Europe, which is underneath here. We have 240 colored train cars, 45 each in blue, so there should be 45 in here. 15 colored train stations, which I believe we have in here, maybe. I guess not. Let's see. Where'd they go? There they are. Like I said, this is totally unprepared. Are the blue ones not in here? Oh, they are. Okay. So sorry. Alright, so we got train stations and train cars in here. And then 158 illustrated cards, including the train cars. Train car cards. 12 of each color, so let's see. We've got a blue one, a green one. Let's find all the colors. There's a wild, a pink, an orange, white, red, yellow, and that might be 12 of each color. That might be all of our colors. I believe so. Okay. So, put these aside. So here are our train cards, which we will learn about shortly. I'm going to bring them all up here. these up here. And then we have a scoring card. So here's how to score it. Let's see, is this still in shot up here? So you can maybe see that. Kind of. Alright, we'll leave that there for now. And then 40 regular routes, which, because I think here, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. So, here are our regular route destination cards, destination tickets, and our 6 long routes. So, we'll go ahead and put these up here for now. We'll get back to them. And then I think these are all just the colored, yeah. So we'll get these guys up here as well. Okay, so then we have the scoring marker, the rule book, and then online access. I've never used that. So let's set up the game. So setting up the game, you place the board at the center of the table. Each player receives a set of 45 colored train cars, which I have mine right here. So here's a train car. That's what a train car looks like for the game. Let's get them all out over here. Alright. And one thing I love to do is before the game starts, or when usually my wife is explaining the rules to our friends, I always like line mine up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So there's our train stations to start. And then we got our train cars, so. Just imagine somebody's explaining the rules of the game, which we're about to do in a second. But you see me sitting over in the corner of the table just doing this. That's how it really be in real life. IRL. Alright, let's see here. Do another row here. Let's see, hopefully we have enough for one more row down here. Oh, yes. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Oh, So, setting up the game. Like we said, put the board at the center of the table. Each player receives a set of 45 colored train cards, and each player receives a scoring marker on start 1. So, here's our scoring marker. I don't believe, let's see. We can't see the number 1, but it's just down here in this corner. But I believe you can see these numbers right here. So, it goes 1 all the way around to 20 in the top left, to 50 on the top right, to 70 on the bottom right, and back to 100 down here, down in this corner. So you'll set it at spot number 1 on the scoring track running along the map's border. Throughout the game, each time a player scores points, he will advance his marker accordingly. That's something new that I've learned, is because we usually just add it all up at the end. So I guess you could do it either way. But by adding it all up at the end, it's kind of like a checks thing where all of us watch as we add up one person at a time, so we know it's fair. No one's cheating. Alright, shuffle the train cards and deal a starting hand of 4 cards to each player. So here's our train cards with all the colors. So, let's give it a shuffle. It's kind of hard to do when the instructions want to move with it. Okay. We'll just do the one shuffle for now. So what you'll do is deal 4 cards to each player. So right now, if it's just me, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. But usually there's at least 2 people, because that's what this game requires. Alright, so let's see what we started out with. We got 2 black cards. I don't think I got the black out earlier. Blue and red. So what I do is usually partner them up in my hand like that. That's just what I do. But let's go ahead and put the blue on top, since we're the blue trains. Okay, so that's my hand I get to start with. Alright. Number 3. Place the remaining deck of train cards near the board. Then turn the top 5 cards from the deck face up and lay them one next to the other. So, let's say we shuffled this whole deck. All these train cards, because these are about to go out to everybody. So, you wouldn't do it on the board here, but just off the board, you'd place the whole thing here. And you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's move this up. Alright. So, let's see. That's the 3rd thing you should do. 4th, place the European Express bonus and the summary card face up next to the board as a reminder to the players. That's a great question. Whatever the European Express bonus, but here's the summary card, the scoring table. I think that's what it's talking about. I could totally be wrong, but here's our scoring table that you would give to each player so they can watch. They can know what they're gunning for points-wise. Alright. Take the deck of destination tickets and separate the long routes from the regular routes. So we did that already. We had the long routes in blue and the regular routes in just tan here. and then shuffle the long routes and randomly deal one to each player. So each player starts with a long route. Let's just pull one from the middle. Okay. So then you would obviously give one of those to each person. So here's our long route. I'm going to say this so wrong, but we got to go from Cadiz to Stockholm. So that's where we need to go, which actually you can kind of see under here. There's our first destination, and Stockholm's all the way up here. Actually, you can't see this one, but it's down here. So that's almost the whole board from top to bottom. That's the long route. So, now, we need to put any replaying long routes back in the game box without letting anyone see them. So, once everybody has a long route, you take them away, because nobody can take one now. Oh. Alright. And then, now shuffle the regular destination tickets. All short routes with a plain background. Deal 3 to each player. So we're going to take 1, 2, and 3. So those are our destination tickets, and we'll take a peek at them in a second. And place the remainder in a draw pile face down next to the board. You are now ready to begin. So we'll take our remaining cards, put them face down, and put them somewhere off the board, but for now I'm going to just put them up top here. Alright, so I hope these all make sense now. So we have our colored train cars, our destination tickets, so these are the routes we need to try to complete. The scoring card, the cards we currently were dealt. So like I said, I have 2 blacks, a red, and a blue. All of our trains and our train stations. So the beginning of the game, before taking their first turn, players must choose which destination tickets they will keep from among those they were initially dealt. Each player must keep a minimum of 2 tickets, although they may keep more. Put any destination tickets you wish to discard back in the game box without letting any of the players see them. The tickets that are put away may either be long routes or regular ones. The tickets you decide to keep are held until the end of the game. Okay, so, alright, that's interesting to know. So I guess you could say we kind of have a little house rule here. House rule is in we follow this rule in our home. So I'm going to move this out of the way for a second, because we're going to choose our destinations. Alright, so, for our destinations, we have our long route, which is from Cadiz, which is down here in the left-hand corner, all the way to Stockholm up here in the top. So, what you have to think is, do you think in this game you can get enough trains to make it from all the way down here to all the way up here, all while other people are filling out trains, their train cars along the map? So I should explain these really fast, just as I pose that question. So each card here represents 1 train. So let's see, we've got our 2 black trains. So when it's my turn, so these 2 cards could be played to fill out this train. So I would play these cards and put 2 of my trains right here. That's just a quick sneak peek, but just so you kind of understand the colors really fast. Alright, I'm going to take a drink really fast. out of some ice. Alright, I hope that explains kind of the way the color cards work. So let's pick out our destinations. So I'm debating on keeping this one. It's kind of long. But if it's like 2 players, so if it was just my wife and I playing, I would most likely keep that. Because to get all the way up here, just 2 of us facing off wouldn't be as difficult. But if you have the max of like 4 or 5 people, everyone's going to be placing around the board the whole game, and it's going to be really difficult to get it up, like to get all the way up here. So, just a thought. So let's see. What could we choose? So, my strategy usually is I try to choose cards that correlate with each other, at least in the same kind of area of the map. So, let's say we're going to keep the long route. We're going to keep that. So we're going to be working up in this area all the way down through here. So I probably don't want to keep this card because this is stretching all the way to the right of the board now. So I'm going to discard this one. I don't want to take that, but we do have to keep a minimum of 2, remember? So let's see what we got left. We've got Paris to Zagreb. So I see Zagreb here. I'm so sorry if I'm saying these places wrong. To Paris right here. So that's not a bad little route you got going on there. But if we're keeping the long one, which is going this direction, that might not be the best route. But remember, you have to keep 2. So let's check our other one. Danzig to, is that Brussels? I don't know how to say it exactly, but right here. So this is the one I'm going to keep. So I'm going to discard this Paris to Zagreb because, let's see, Zagreb's down here and I'm trying to stay over here on this side of the board. So we're going to get rid of this one and keep these 2. This is just my thought process. They don't all have to touch. So if I keep this long route, but then there's a short one over here I want to do, you can totally do that. You don't have to attach each train. You can have a train going over here and a train going over here, but I like to keep them all going in the same area. That's just me. So I kept this one because, like I said, long route over here, and then this shorter route is just right here, so right beneath where we're trying to go, and right in between everywhere else we're going to be going. Just my thoughts, just my strategy. There's a lot of different strategies. Okay, so we're going to keep these. I'm going to put them up top here. And you would obviously keep this to yourself. You don't want other people to know where you're going, because then they might try to intentionally block you depending on the person and the morals they have. I'm going to go ahead and flip these so we're all facing the same way. Obviously within the game you wouldn't be doing that, but it wouldn't matter as much. Alright, so let's keep going with the instructions. So, the objective of the game we already read, so the game turn. The player who has visited the most European countries in their lifetime begins the game, and play then processes clockwise. On their turn, a player must perform one and only one of the following actions. So, here's my cards. Those are my cards I have in my hand. I wouldn't be showing anybody. So what I could do is I could draw. I'll just go ahead and jump forward and explain some stuff. So let's see. I'm trying to go from down here. I'll make sure you can see it. this black route right here. I already have 2 black cards. So, I see this black card in the pile and it's my turn. And I'm trying to go from start down here and work my way up. I would most likely choose this black card. So I can have the 3 black cards to be able to fill this out. But this is a special train, which I'll explain in a second. But as I grab that, the dealer, or whoever's closest, will flip this. And so now I can choose from this stack. So I most likely would take one of these. So let's say I take the blue one because I want to have 2 blues. So then they would replenish. Alright, now it'd be the next person's turn. So that's one thing you can do. That's one thing you can do. Let's go ahead and just act like I played it. The next thing you could do, so let's say everybody goes around. It's back to me. You can claim a route. So let's say, here, let's see what's going on here. Okay, we're good. There's 3 blacks there. This isn't along my route necessarily. But actually, yeah, we got one along my route because this is kind of part of my route. So we can claim a route. So it comes back to me and I say I want to claim a route. I only have to play 1 black card, which I would put in the discard pile over here, the played pile. Take 1 train and place it there. Okay, so I just claimed this route. That was one of my turns. Let's say future, way later in the game, I've already completed one of my routes. And I'm like, alright, I need more routes. I need more game to play because the game's long from over. I can draw more destination tickets, which means you draw 3 tickets. Look through them, and you have to keep at least 1. You can't pull 3 and be like, I don't like any of these and throw them away. You have to keep at least 1. And the risky thing there is you could be working on this side of the board, and it's all full over here from everybody else. But you'll pick up 3 and they're all right here. So it's kind of risky to pull them up, but that is a move you can make. Or you can build a train station, which the player may build its station in any city that does not yet have one. To build their first train station, the player plays 1 train card of any color and places 1 of his stations on that city. To build his second station, a player must play a set of 2 cards of the same color, and to build their third station, and so on. So, here's the situation. Let's say, just imagine these are all different colors. Somebody else is here. Somebody else played here. Let's see. I'm going to get these up and out of here. Let's say there's 4 of us playing. And you need to go through this city, but everybody else is blocking it. Then that's what these stations come in handy. Is you play any color card, it says, and then you can go through this city. So, let's say I'm down here. I hope I'm explaining that right. You're down here, but you want to go, let's see. Actually, you're down here. And you need to get to, let's see, London. Let's see how this is taken up. Then you can place a train station here on somebody else's. That means that you can go through their train to get to London. I hope that makes sense. But we'll take all this back for now. Getting a little messy over here, sorry. Okay. So, drawing train cards. I kind of explained this already, but let's just go ahead and read it. There are 8 types of regular train cards in quantities of 12 each, and 14 locomotive cards. The colors of each type of train card match the color of various routes between the cities on the board: purple, blue, orange, white, green, yellow, black, and red. If a player chooses to draw train cards, they may draw 2 cards per turn. Either of these cards can be drawn from the 5 face cards next to the board or from the top of the deck. A blind draw. If drawing a face-up card, the player must immediately replace it with a new card taken from the top of the draw pile. So like I said, you take this, then you have to replenish it immediately. So now this is your card, and that's what's up now. If a player selects a face-up locomotive card, it is the only card he may pick this turn. See locomotives. Oh, so that's the wild. We'll get to that. Okay. So we're gonna, let's say I took that card, and I want this blue one as well. So I take that and replenish it. So this is my hand up here. Okay. You can have any, I'm just gonna skip along here. So you can have any number of cards in your hand at any time. When the draw pile is exhausted, as in they're all gone, reshuffle and start over here. And they must be shuffled thoroughly, since the cards are usually dealt in sets. So like, somebody would put 4 purple down, so you need to make sure it's shuffled good, or all the purples will be together. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump up over to the next one. So, locomotives. The locomotives are the multicolored ones, so let's go ahead and find one. There's one right there. So a locomotive is right there. Basically, a locomotive is a wild, so it can be any color you want. I hope that makes sense. So let's say I have only 1 red in my hand. I'm trying to do this train right here. Let's say I only have 1 red, but I also have a wild. Then I can play those 2 together and say that they're both red and put my trains right there. We're going to go ahead and keep that with us. So, and then along with that, along the board here, which you can see one, we're going to move the scoring card out of the way. If you see this little locomotive logo, that means that only a locomotive card can be played there. So, if there's a grayed out section right here, that means any color can be played there as long as it's in 2s, but one of those cards needs to be a locomotive, this one. So, I can do this red and locomotive in this gray section, but it has to be the locomotive as one of them, because that sign is there. Sound good? Alright. So, basically, I'm not gonna summarize. I'm gonna keep reading. So, claiming routes. A route is a set continuous colored spaces. I've kind of explained this already, but it's all good. Most routes require a specific set of colored cards to claim them. Locomotives can always act as a stand-in for any given color. Routes that are gray can be claimed using a set of cards of any color, any one color. When a route is claimed, the player places one of his plastic trains on each of the spaces of the route. So, earlier I claimed this, so I put my train down on it, and that's mine. Then you record your score, and connect to any of the previous play routes. So I mentioned that before. I have this. That doesn't mean that I have to play along one of these routes. I can go ahead and play this gray down here if I have enough cards. So that's a play I could make. These don't have to touch, but you eventually want them to touch to connect the routes. No more than one route may be claimed in a given player's turn. So, if you claim a route, that's your turn. So, double routes, basically, you see this here. 2 players. So, let's say I connect these cars. I make this play. If you really want to be a jerk, you can claim this one too the next time it comes around to you. But usually this means it opens it up for more people to join you. So, that's all. Basically, it just gives a better chance for other people to finish their routes. So, let's see what's going on back here. So, fairies. Oh wow. I think I just noticed this. Oh no, never mind. It's not in every case, but fairies. Fairies are special gray routes linking 2 adjacent cities across a body of water. They are easily identified by the locomotive icons featured on at least one of the spaces making the route. So these right here, these right here. To claim a ferry route, a player must play a locomotive card. I already explained that, but play a locomotive card and a corresponding color. So tunnels. I won't read all of this because that's way too long, but a tunnel. Let's see. I have 3 black cards. Let's say I didn't play this one. I own all 3 of these black cards, along with these up here. So, down here is that black train, the specialty I was talking about. I'm making sure you guys can see that. So, I have 3 black cards. I should be able to play this right. With one caveat, it has this special design, this tunnel design. So, what that means is, when it's my turn and I want to try to take that route, I would tell the dealer or whoever is kind of like the card master that game, which is usually my wife. I would say I'm going for a black train. So what goes on in that case is I tell them I'm going for a black train, and they go, okay, so you have to deal 3 cards from the top of the deck. For every black card or wild that shows up, you have to play an extra card of that color. So right now I have 3 black, and there's 3 black. So I should be able to play that. But you have to do the tunnel challenge first. So you would go 1, 2, 3. Alright, perfect. So a black card showed up. So in this case, I would need to play 4 black cards to be able to place there. Or a wild. So since I have this wild, I would be able to play it because 1, 2, 3, 4, that covers that tunnel charge. So in that case, I would be able to play this because I passed the tunnel challenge or whatever. But let's just say this was a black too, so 2 blacks showed up. I would then have to play 2 extra black cards, and since I only have technically 4, I wouldn't be able to place that, and that would count as my turn. So basically it would just be a wipe. I'd say I was going for a tunnel. I couldn't afford it, so it would go to the next person, and you kind of lose your turn, in a sense. I hope that makes sense. Alright. Okay. I hope that explains tunnels without having to go through all this. Let's see what else we got going on. I explained this a little bit before, but we already explained drawing destination cards, building a train station, and I think we kind of covered most everything. But as always, I think you can pause and read this through if you'd like. But the game end. When any one player's stock of colored plastic trains gets down to 2 trains or less at the end of their turn, each player, including that player, gets one final turn. The game then ends, and players calculate their final scores. So all the time, this always happens. I need like 2 more turns to finish a route. And my wife does something to where she's down to 1 train, and she's like, alright, everybody else has 1 more move. Basically, she wins all the time. And I always lose because I just needed 2 more turns, but then I only get 1. But yeah, all that to say, I lose this game all the time. But the game ends when somebody's down to 2 or 1 train car in their pile. So these are all out except for this one. Game's over, but everybody gets 1 more turn, including you. So, calculating the scores, so hopefully you were doing that along the way. So, here's the scorecard. So, for 1 car, like this one here, this solo one, is 1 point. These 2 here are 2 points. Then if you have 3 in a row, which you would have right here, these 3 yellows, 4 points. If you get 4 like this down here, that's 7 points. If you get 6, which I'm not sure where a 6 is. Basically, if you get one of the super long routes, that's a 6. You get 15 points. And if you get 8, which I think is up here, that is 21 points. So, the numbers go up. It's not just 1 train equals 1 point. So, then the kicker is that you have to complete your destination tickets. And if you don't complete one of them, or if you don't complete them by the end of the game, then those points right here, so 21 and 9, let's say we didn't finish them, those count against your score. So that's why it's brutal to risk it and pick these up, because then if you can't finish it, that counts against your final score. So, you can get kind of destroyed at the end of the game. Let's see, scorecard. Whoever has the longest train also gets an extra, I think, 10 points, yes. The longest path. So if you have the longest amount of cars touching across the board, then you get an extra 10 points. Alright. So here's kind of how you calculate the final score right there. I'll let you guys just look at that. And I want to say that is Ticket to Ride. Yep. Awesome. So, we'll get this out of here. So, I hope I explained the game somewhat. Obviously, it'd be a lot easier to just go and watch like a quick 5 to 10 minute video of like a how-to. I definitely took my time with this. But here's the board. Also, if you're still watching and you live in Europe somewhere, let me know which town or city, or don't get too specific, but just let me know what area you're at, because I'd love to know. But let's go ahead and pack this up and close it out. But yeah, I guess final thoughts on Ticket to Ride. This is, like I said, probably my favorite board game to play. Mainly by the fact of it's just like constant. This sounds like kind of weird, but it's kind of just like constant anxiety. Like, I don't know, like I really need to go get this route, but like somebody else is getting closer to, so it's like who's gonna get there first kind of thing. So you're kind of sitting at the edge of your seat the whole game. So that's always fun. Stressful, yet fun. But like I said at the start too, I'm definitely not the competitive type. And I actually get super like thrown off or caught off guard if I win. Because I don't win games a lot. Which is okay, I'm more just there to have fun. And honestly kind of like poke fun with the people that are competitive. I love and respect them all so much. But it's kind of fun to get under their skin sometimes. So, there are all of our pieces back in the bag. We'll gather up all of these train cars. We'll get our destination tickets back in order. Scorecard. Alright. I just want to give you a quick, clean look of the board. Alright. There's our board. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So, we obviously need to organize this a little bit more. We're the kind of people that when we have friends over, we play like late into the evening. So then when the game ends, it's like, alright, we really gotta go home, it's late. So we kind of just pack it up super fast. Alright, get our destination cards together. Destination tickets, we'll throw the scorecard on top of that. All those there. We'll get my trains there. And we'll throw the instructions on top. And of course the game board would go in there as well, but that's kind of our backdrop right now. But that, my friends, is Ticket to Ride Europe. I hope that made sense. I know I definitely summarized in some areas, so I would like to challenge you to go get this game yourself or play with somebody who owns it, because it's super fun. And yeah, that's Ticket to Ride, one of my favorite board games. So let me know what you think about this video, and if you'd like me to do a little bit more, I guess, overview videos, review videos. I've got plenty of board games to do. I have a few books I could do. And yeah, that's what we've got, team. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you give this game a try. Let me know if you have played it, or if you want to now. But either way, I encourage you to check it out. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your morning, your day, your evening, and your night. And I will catch you in the next one. See ya.